Turn off your lights. Make sure your doors and windows are locked. Things are about to get spooky. Something terrible happened on my last shift at a rural gas station by Blue Skeleton 666. I used to work at a gas station. It wasn't the ideal job, but at that point in my life, it worked for me. My paycheck went to rent, weed, and junk food, the essentials at that age. My town sits right off a highway that pretty much only truckers use. There's no tourism, just 2 factories and a couple of cornfields. The station was at the entrance to town, about a 20-minute walk from my place. It was the perfect job for someone with zero ambition in life, only them playing Crash Bandicoot and smoking. The last night I worked there was a brutal frost. Snow wasn't normal in my town, but that morning it was supposed to happen. A miracle, people were saying. I could already see frost on the glass while I walked to work, wearing nothing but a wool sweater, a scarf, and a denim jacket. The perks of being young. I was supposed to relieve my coworker, but when I got there, the idiot had already left. He was one of those lazy guys, like I was too, honestly, but with no consideration for anyone else. At least I cared enough to be responsible and not screw over the other person on shift. It was stupid, a huge mistake. I had my copy of the key, so I opened the place back up. He hadn't restocked the fridge or the shelves. Same story as always. I also noticed footprints on the tile floor going all the way down the snack aisle to the employees-only bathroom. My first thought was that the moron had gone out to smoke and didn't wipe his feet before coming back in. I tried to open the bathroom door to grab the cleaning supplies, and it was stuck. The key wouldn't go in, like there was already one in the lock on the other side. How the hell had he managed that without locking himself inside? I cleaned the floor as best I could with napkins and got ready for the long night, knowing I'd have to use the public bathroom, which was disgusting because no one ever wanted to clean it. Night shifts were usually pretty quiet, same faces all the time, mostly truckers stopping to use that nasty bathroom, get gas, or grab something to eat. Frank was one of them. We had become something like friends. We'd talk about horror movies that were so bad they were good, or sports. Every now and then he asked me if I ever thought about quitting that shitty job. I just shrugged. The last time I saw him, he said he might be able to get me a position at the company he worked for, either as a driver or a warehouse worker. I didn't know exactly how much they paid, but I knew it was good money, Frank told me himself. The problem was, I didn't know if I wanted more responsibility than what I had at the gas station. But that night, I kept thinking about it, about how great it would be to leave town, make a living traveling, see the whole country. Before I realized it, an hour had passed and I still hadn't had a single customer. I was hoping Frank would show up so I could bring up the job again. I heard a truck pull in for gas and straightened up since I'd been leaning back in my chair with my feet up on the counter. Through the door, I saw a huge guy walk in, completely bald with a goatee. That was Biggie. I didn't know his real name. He said that's what everyone called him. I didn't like dealing with him. He always bought a corn magazine and flipped through them right there at the counter, telling me what he thought of each woman for several minutes. When he left, you could see that something had grown in his pants. Biggie was gross, so I learned not to talk to him. I'd grab my book I always brought to work, ring him up without looking at him, and eventually he'd get tired of talking to himself and leave. That night, he didn't buy any corn magazine. A miracle. Just snacks and a soda. When he came up to pay, he said, "Hey kid, there's a weird smell in the snack aisle. Something's rotten." I nodded, told him the total, and he paid. After he left, I went to check. And yeah, there was definitely a strange smell. And the closer I got to the bathroom, the stronger it got. My coworker probably took a massive dump and didn't flush, and on top of that, left the door jammed. I sprayed some air freshener and went back to the counter. Not much else I could do. Less than 10 minutes later, the phone rang. We almost never got calls. The owner never called. I had honestly forgotten we even had a phone. I picked up, and on the other end, I heard Seb's voice, my coworker. He didn't even let me ask him how he was. He said he needed a favor. They gotten stranded about 6 miles out near the reserve. He had walked until they found a place with a phone, but he was heading back to his car. He didn't have anyone else to ask help for. Normally, I would have done something, at least called a tow truck, but I told him I couldn't, that I was busy. Maybe later I'd try to get him help. "What the hell were you even doing out there by the reserve at this hour?" I asked. He just hung up. I felt a little guilty. I didn't like being an ass, but he was irresponsible. I was already fed up with him. About 2 hours into my shift, it was time for one of my many smoke breaks. I like going out the back door. I just had to put up the "back in 5 minutes" sign in case someone showed up. Everyone knew me anyway. If they need me, they just yell. They know I'd be out back smoking. From there, you could see a huge cornfield past the parking lot. It was so big it looked endless. You could see it for a few yards, then total darkness. It always gave me a weird feeling. Not exactly fear, but close. And I was curious why it made me feel that way. I liked smoking and staring into that overwhelming darkness. "Nick!" someone shouted. I took one last drag and hurried back inside. On my way, I ran into Javier in the snack aisle. He was a guy who worked at the cornfield, basically in charge of watching over it since the owner was never around. He usually stopped by at night to buy beer or cigarettes. I had forgotten to lock the front door, a serious mistake. Luckily, everyone who came in at night was familiar, people you trusted. Javier was pointing towards the employee bathroom, more specifically the floor right in front of the door. A dark, reddish puddle was slowly spreading out from underneath it. My heart skipped a beat. I could feel myself going pale. I didn't hesitate. I started forcing the door. "Is someone in there? Are you okay, man?" I yelled while shoving against it. Javier told me to move. With one kick, he broke it open. He vomited instantly. I just stood there, staring. I couldn't look away. Frank was sitting on the toilet, pale, much thinner than I remember. The bathroom was disgusting, shit everywhere, but that didn't seem to have anything to do with him. He was fully dressed, pants still up. Covering my nose with my shirt, I stepped closer. I could see blood coming from his neck, but it wasn't a normal wound. It looked like a bite. 2 small holes and thin stream of blood still running down, forming the puddle on the floor. I ran to the phone and called the police immediately. It was a long night. Of course, I was their first suspect. They questioned me over and over in the following days. Nobody had any idea what had happened to Frank. In fact, the local news never mentioned the strange wound on his neck. They didn't want to release that information until they had some kind of explanation. The next suspect was Seb. The weird part was that when they tried to contact him, they couldn't find him. That worried me because the last thing I knew was that he had been stranded out on the road that night. I told them, so they went straight to his house, forced entry. No sign of him. All his stuff was still there. His mother didn't know anything either. Days passed and Seb was still missing. Victim or killer? A full search started. 2 weeks later, they found him. Just not the way anyone expected. He was in the cornfield, deep inside it. Apparently his body was even worse condition than Frank's. I didn't see it, but from what I heard, it looked like he had been emptied from the inside. More skin than flesh. The case was eventually abandoned. The gas station closed permanently. I left town and never wanted to go back. Years later, my job as a truck driver took me past that area again. I almost had a heart attack behind the wheel when I saw him. Seb. In the middle of the night, near the entrance to the reserve. Standing there, staring straight into the endless darkness. In 2030, for the first time ever, a humanitarian award was given to AI for its ability to help the needy where us humans come up short. Although the algorithm felt neither humor nor remorse, it was still silently surprised that humanity hadn't figured out that starving people and too many abandoned children weren't actually two different problems, but rather each other's logical solution. Rules for Riding Route 18 by mostlyprobablyok. Welcome passengers, Route 18 is here to take you to your destination. We go where other routes won't, no questions asked. Enclosed in this guide is an essential list of the rules to ensure your safe travels. 1. Ensure your bus number is correct. If it isn't, do not engage and wait for your normal bus. Steps taken on these buses are invitations. 2. Possess a valid ticket at all times. Show it upon request. Due to the cost of living crisis, fines have been redacted, so they have been invited to dull your punishment instead. 3. If you use a personal audio device, always keep the volume low. They are sensitive to sounds. Don't be that guy. 4. Please keep your feet and anything that may damage off the seats. Should the seats break, these rules will become null and they will become unbound. 5. After 7 p.m., you may alight anywhere on the bus route where it's safe to pull up. You will know when A. The driver looks ahead, you are free to leave Route 18. Safe travels. B. The driver locks eyes. Do not invite yourself outside. 6. If the driver locks eyes with you through the rearview mirror, remain still. One of them is acknowledging you. Do not return this in any manner, or they will accept this as an invitation. After a brief period of time, it will return to its seat. You will know when the driver looks forward once more. 7. Refrain from speaking to the driver while the bus is moving. This route is safe. Do not cause the driver to deviate. 8. Never stand in the aisles. Standing is an invitation for those not on the bus that you're ready for their company. 9. Do not engage with other passengers on this service. Both kinds, us and them, use this route. Their rules are different. 10. Offer your seat to those who need it. This includes anyone with children, elderly passengers, and, regrettably, them. It's considered impolite not to offer your seat, so it's best to give it to whoever asks. Note, this is the only time you may acknowledge them. 11. No eating or drinking on our service. They take this as an invitation to eat as well. 12. If the child offers you chocolate, do not accept. There is not, in fact, a glass and a half in everyone. There's 5 liters. 13. Be courteous to the employees. They are here for your safety. Any form of abuse are not tolerated. Should this occur, you'll be escorted off the route, regardless of location. Disclaimer: Route 18 is not liable for any consequences that may occur as a result of not following these explicit guidelines. Have a safe ride. I used to think I was a great fortune teller, as all my predictions came true, until one day I saw a fate so terrifying that I couldn't utter a word. I just sat there for my client's imminent death, but nothing happened. So now I wonder how many people I could have saved if I had just stayed silent. Rules for Traveling to the Dream Universe by Dumb Child 3. Welcome, traveler. It seems you want to travel to the dream universe. Let me guess. You saw the advertisement for it in your sleep, and you're interested in staying there. Well, there's a few rules for you to follow first. 1. You don't need to book a ticket. They already know when you're coming and when you're going. 2. Your flight doesn't leave at any normal airport. To get to a dream airport, all you have to do is fall asleep inside an airport. Just don't drift off. 3. Once you wake up in a dream airport, you have to go into security. When they question you, don't lie. They will know. 4. Reach into your right back pocket. That's your boarding pass. It may not say anything, but the weird symbols make complete sense if you know the dream language. 5. Go to the gate. Even though you can't read the boarding pass, the glowing lights on the ceiling will guide you. 6. You may see lights on the floor. They are in the wrong universe. Do not, and I repeat, do not follow them. 7. The gate agent will see you and know the right person has arrived. If she doesn't look up, you are in the wrong universe. 8. It's time to get on the plane. Once you get on the plane, check if it's day or night. If it's night, you have most likely noticed the million of eyes looking at you. Close the blinds. You don't want to become one of them. 9. Do not fall asleep no matter what. It is very easy to drift off in your sleep, and you will fall out of the plane and into an infinite void. 10. At daytime, you may open the blinds. Look at such beautiful view. Don't look too hard. It's a trap, and once you know something is off, it will suck you out of the plane. 11. The others on the plane are all pieces of you. Don't look at them because you might cause you to self-destruct. 12. The dream food is completely safe. Be careful, as dream ingredients may be new to your system. Feel free to ask for food and water. The flight attendants are super friendly. 13. Don't use the bathroom. The toilet gets cranky when hungry and may consume you. 14. When the plane lands, it's time for the merging process. Listen carefully. You don't want to mess this up. 15. Locate all pieces of yourself on the plane. If a piece gets left behind, you will self-destruct. 16. Walk into a piece of yourself to merge. Merge into every piece you can find. Don't worry about trying to find them. They can find you. 17. If you see someone that doesn't look familiar, it's not you. It's a lost piece in the wrong universe. Looks like you've arrived at your destination. The dream universe is so beautiful. I hope you enjoy your stay. It's a shame you have to leave so soon. I moved the wedding ring to my right hand after my wife passed away last year, kissing it every night while chanting a silent prayer in honor of her memory. Upon waking up in the morning of our anniversary, the ring was on my left hand. And with that, our time together is coming to an end. As always, if you have a story you'd like me to narrate, whether true or fictional, there are 3 different ways you can send it my way. All the links are down below, including the ones to my socials. I'd like to thank the writers who let me read their stories this evening. I really enjoyed all 3 of them. I know I say that every time, but I also do pick stories that I enjoy reading. We started with a gas station with a guy just floating through life in his 20s, not exactly knowing where he wanted to go. It definitely went different than I thought it was going to go. I thought we were going to find his coworker in there, instead of that other truck driver. But it doesn't seem like his coworker got scot-free either in the end. Makes me wonder what happened just before they showed up for their shift, and how lucky they were not to be part of whatever happened. And then rules that you need to follow on this very specific bus, otherwise you give them an invitation to do whatever they like, I guess. Very well done. I love when the rules add to the horror quite quickly. And then, do you really want to go to that dream universe? Relax on that nice beach. But know that if you make one wrong mistake, you'll disappear into that void forever. I also have a hard time believing that it's April already. We're 4 months into the year and my brain just wants to scream that it's February. But it is what it is. Time's a funny thing. Now if you enjoyed these stories, hit that like button and make sure it feels it. If you're new, please subscribe and turn that pretty little bell to all notifications. And if you enjoyed these stories, please hit that hype button. Help this video get to new people. And of course, I would love a comment. Tell what you think, what kind of stories you like in the future, and if you got this far, make sure you put VIP in that comment. If you're listening on the podcast and are able to, please leave a review and a comment. If you'd like to help this channel and podcast grow, please share it with anyone who might enjoy it. It helps quite a bit. And if you're willing to help in a more financial way, I do have Patreon and memberships where you get a few bonuses like early access. All the links are down below for you guys. But if you'd like to do more of a one-time thing, I do have PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, and Super Thanks. But as always guys, thank you for watching and listening. It always has and always will mean the world to me. Sleep tight and don't let 42 bite.